Welcome to day 2 of King's Club by Post. Today we're thinking about how Peter, one of the followers of Jesus, saw Jesus heal lots and lots of people. He made them feel better. In fact, one of those people was Simon Peter's own mother-in-law. She was in bed with a very high temperature, a fever, and Jesus made her better. So I hope you enjoy doing the crafts and thinking about this as you work through them. And there's also some other suggestions of things to do today. So let's get on and have a look at what we're going to make today.
For this activity you'll need a plastic sheet to protect the table, some of the paper strips with patterns on and colours, a pair of scissors and some sticky tape. So first of all, choose about half of your strips and lay them out next to each other, design that you like on the plastic sheet. So you can choose different patterns all across or a repeating pattern. You can lay them out however you fancy. So I've got mine laid out in the pattern I would like, and then I'm going to measure the sticky tape and stick the sticky tape across the top ends and stick them down to the plastic sheet to stop them moving around. There, the other ends I'm going to leave loose for the moment. And now I'm going to weave through the other sheets, going over and under the ones that are stuck down. Again, you can just choose your pattern and the way you want to do it. So the first one's gone under and over, and the second one is going to go over and then under. And you just carry on doing that until you've used up all of your strips.
There's another story in the Bible about Jesus healing a man who couldn't walk. His friends and this man knew that Jesus would make him better. There were so many people in the house where Jesus was that they couldn't get close to it. So they climbed up onto the flat roof and began to make a hole in it. They very carefully lowered their friend on his mat down through the hole in the roof, right in front of Jesus. The people in the house must have been really surprised to see bits of ceiling falling on their heads and suddenly see the sky above them. Jesus took a look at this man and knew that as well as things wrong with his body, this man was worried about things he'd done wrong. So Jesus said, "The things you've done wrong have been forgiven." Now the people who were listening to Jesus began to mutter and say, "Surely this man can't forgive the things we've done wrong." But Jesus knew he could do that. And so he said to the man, "I say to you, the things you've done wrong have been forgiven. Pick up your mat and walk home." And because the man knew that Jesus had made his body better and healed the worries in his mind, he was able to pick up the mat and walk home.
So I've got all of my paper strips in my weaving in the pattern I want them in, and I'm going to stick the other end together to stop them moving about and coming apart. I'm going to stick it first just to the paper strips and then lift it carefully off the plastic and then fold the sellotape over to hold all the paper in place. And there, that's that end secure. And now I need to do the same at the other end. So if I very carefully peel it off the plastic, just carefully pull the tape off the plastic and fold it over to secure the other end. And that will keep them from moving around. And there you can see the pattern that I've made with my paper strips, and now I just need to do the sides in the same way to stop them moving about too. So there's my finished mat. I'm quite pleased with that. You could protect it all with tape to stop it falling apart.
This activity is to make Peter's mother jump up out of bed.
For this, you'll need a picture of Simon Peter's mother-in-law and her bed. You'll need your pencil crayons, or you could use your paint, the scissors and the glue stick. And now we're going to colour in the pictures to brighten them up a bit. You can take as long as you like to do this. You can always pause the video and stop it so that you don't feel rushed when you're doing your colouring in. And you could perhaps put patterns on her dress and patterns on the bed and make the picture as beautiful as you can. Now sometimes when people are feeling poorly, we're really worried about them and we really care about them, and we'd like to help them get better as quickly as we can. And sometimes when people are infectious or really unwell, we're not allowed to go and see them, but we can send them a picture or write them a card, or even just send them a little message to let them know we're thinking of them. But sometimes it feels that we can't do very much, particularly when we've seen something on the news about poorly people in countries far away. But what we can do is pray for people that are unwell. This could be someone that we know by name, or a situation we've seen on the news. You don't need special words or a special praise to pray. You can just pray where you are and use your ordinary words to ask God to look after the people that are unwell and to make them feel better, and that they will know that God is with them and looking after them. And if it feels that we can't do very much, something we can always do wherever we are, whoever we are, is to pray. And that really helps in situations. So there's always something we can do. We can always say a prayer. So I've coloured in all of Peter's mother-in-law, and now I'm going to colour in these stripes at the bottom of the page. Let's speed it up. These stripes are going to be her legs, so I'm going to give her stripy legs. I've done 2 blue stripes and 2 red stripes, and I'll show you how those are going to work in a moment. But first I just need to colour in her bed. So let's speed that one up as well and colour in the bed. There, that's the picture finished. So now we need to cut out the picture, cut carefully around all the different parts of it. And then once we've cut them all out, you can see Peter's mother-in-law lying in bed already, and we need to colour in the back of the long thin strips. So you can colour them in the same colour as you've got on the front. Blue one and the red one. And there, we've got the strips coloured on both sides. Now we're going to make the legs springy. So put a red strip and a blue strip at right angles to each other, right at the very end. And I've got the blue strip behind and the red strip on front, and I've bent the blue strip over to cover the red strip, and now folding the red strip over to cover the blue, blue one folded over the red, red over the blue, and so on all the way along to the far end of the strip. Keep folding the red over the blue and you get that little spring starting to form with the 2 strips. So keep going right to the end of the strip till you've got it all folded into a spring. There we go, 1 spring. So now we need to do the same thing with the other 2 strips, red and blue, and fold them over each other, blue over the red, red over the blue, blue back over the red, red over, and the blue one, and keep going all the way to the end of the spring. And there we go, a second spring. So now we need to attach the springy legs to Peter's mother-in-law. So a nice blob of glue on one end of the first spring and place it on the back of her body and squish it down, and do the same with the second one and hold it on and squish it down. Just hold it for a few seconds until it sticks, and then we need to stick the other end of the spring and her wibbly legs to the bed, so when they're stuck in she can spring up out of bed.
And the final craft for today is to make a wristband out of what the Americans call a band-aid and what we call a plaster. So a band-aid wristband.
To make your wristband you'll need the printed sheet, some colouring pencils, or you could use paint, your scissors and the sellotape. First of all, you need to decorate the band-aid shapes on the printed sheet. So you can colour the letters in one colour and the background another colour. You can decorate it however you like, and you can take as much time as you like over it. You could pause the video and get on with it, but you don't want to watch me colouring, so I've speeded up this bit, and then you can stop it whenever and take as much time to make your decoration beautiful. So with the power of speeded video, I've now finished the colouring in, and I'm going to put some decoration on. I think I'm going to put some pink hearts in the middle of the paper band-aid to decorate it. You could perhaps draw some pictures on yours, or some flowers, or just some squiggly lines to decorate it, and some patterns in whatever colour you want. And there we are, I've finished this and we're just about ready to cut it out. There, can you see the coloured in one?
And I think the prayer that I'm going to have on this wristband is to pray for our NHS and all the people that work in our hospitals.
Now it's time to make our band-aid into a wristband. So what you're going to do is wrap it round your wrist and stick it together with some tape. When you've measured where it's going to fit, you can stick some tape on one end and join the ends together. It might be a good idea to get someone else to help you with this bit, and maybe you can help them with theirs as well. And you can decorate the rest of the band-aids on the sheet, and perhaps you could give them away to your family or your friends. So there we have it, one band-aid wristband to remind us that Jesus heals people.
I hope you've enjoyed today thinking about how Jesus healed people when Peter was one of his disciples. We've made some crafts. We've made Peter's mother-in-law springing out of bed when Jesus healed her. We've made a band-aid to remind us that Jesus heals, and we've done some weaving, and the weaving could be all sorts of things, even the mat that those friends carried their poorly friend to see Jesus. In the leaflet there's some other suggestions of things to do. You could make a den, or you could use some junk modelling or building blocks to make a giant bed. And if you ask the grown-up that's looking after you today, there's a song that you can look up online as well. And there is also a prayer. So I'm going to share that prayer with you now. You can pray in any words you like, but sometimes it's helpful to have some words written down to get you started. Jesus, thank you that you can heal people. Please be with all the people who feel ill at the moment. Be with all the nurses and doctors and all the other people in hospitals who help to make them better. Amen. So we'll see you again for the next video when there's some more crafts to do.